when I was there in BMN.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. The Sports Committee of Dr. BMN College of Home Science would like to extend its warm regards and welcome to you all in the webinar today. Dr. BMN College of Home Science, as we all know, is an autonomous college, and Dr. BMN College of Home Science is an autonomous body. We have proudly received the A+ NAC grade in the third cycle. We also have the UGC status for potential college with potential for excellence. We also have been adjudged the Best College Award by SNDT Women's University 2016 and 17. Here, the college have various committees to it, and one of the committees is sports committee. We're very happy to share that we have always been an active committee, and we have arranged a number of or numerous amount of activities, even on the virtual mode. One of the activities in the list is the fitness mode on, wherein the students of all the courses are encouraged to join the online sessions, wherein they have been provided yoga sessions online, which is a type of aerobic exercise, and a full body workout session, which is a type of anaerobic exercise. So this clubs together a perfect exercise regimen for the students, even if they are at home, and try to maintain your health. But to add to this, we will be happy to say that the webinar today will give you the correct advice on how to collaborate these exercises with the correct nutrition, so that the benefit that you get out of the session is utmost and is 100%. To justify that, we have our speaker today, Ms. Madhu Salunke. I would request Ms. Paulami Desai, in charge of Sports Committee, to kindly introduce the speaker for the day.
Sure.
Ma'am, I would just share the screen.
Yeah. So a very warm welcome to our speaker for today, Ms. Madhu Salunke.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
And also a warm welcome to all the students who have joined this session for today. And I'm sure you're going to benefit out of this. Thank you to all the staff members. There are some staff members who are interested to join in. So I thank all of them too. And I welcome them. To introduce our speaker for today, Ms. Madhu Salunke. She's currently working as a head sports and clinical nutritionist for Kumur Clinic, sports performance testing and rehabilitation clinic, Pune, from 2019 onwards, October. Her qualifications are that she's MSc in sports nutrition, postgraduate diploma in sports science and fitness and nutrition, PGSS and okay, she's our alumni, okay, and she's also done her BSc in nutrition and dietetics. Yes, next please. So her past experience, she has worked for sports and clinical, she was a sports and clinical nutritionist at Abhinav Bindra Targeting Performance, Pune, in August 2019. She's also been a clinical nutritionist for a project for Zydus Wellness from June 2019 to July 2019. She has been an academic intern at as a sports nutritionist at Kumur Performance Testing and Injury Rehabilitation, Gorpadi, from June to August 2018, and also a sports nutritionist at Jumping Gorilla Sports Academy, Pune, in 2018. She has also been an academic intern at Bharti Hospital in 2016. So with this short introduction, I think a lot of things that she's achieved in such a young age. I would like to invite our speaker for today to please take over the session.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was very sweet of you. Thank you. So I'm going to keep this session a two-way street. It's not just going to be me speaking. I also want people to engage, participate actively in this. It's just right now, I'm sure a lot of you have not switched on your cameras. I don't mind. If you don't mind, please do switch on your cameras and talk to us, talk to me and everybody here. Thank you once again. I'm now going to be sharing my screen. Okay, so is the screen visible to everybody? I just want a thumbs up or a yes or a no.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about the importance of nutrition. Yes, a lot of people have been emphasizing, you know, after COVID, there has been a lot of emphasis on nutrition and lifestyle change and everything. And everybody is so interested in knowing about how to make changes and how to make their lifestyle better, how to improve immunity and everything. Our topic for today is going to be aerobic, anaerobic exercises, which Bhavisha ma'am and ma'am just mentioned right now, that they've started off with a session for you, which I'm very happy to hear. We also had these sessions, but then it was, you know, not mandatory. Some people did join in, some people did not join in. So I would just like to say that it's very important, and please take the full advantage of this opportunity that you're getting to go exercise and do the session that is happening at college right now. Yeah, so we're going to be starting off with what is aerobic exercise. I'm sure you all also have a slight idea about this, but I'm just going to show, I'm sure you see the pictures here on the screen. There's swimming, there's cycling, there's walking, and then there's running. So aerobic exercise, what is aerobic exercise? Aerobic means with oxygen. So your body utilizes oxygen to help you to sustain these kind of activities for a longer duration of time. Because your body takes some time to sustain this activity and it takes time to utilize the oxygen that you're taking in, the activity has to be low intensity. That's how your body will be able to use the oxygen. The benefits of aerobic exercise is that it provides cardiovascular conditioning. I'll just break this down for you. Cardiovascular is your heart health, and it provides conditioning, meaning your heart is also a muscle, and to condition that muscle, aerobic type of activity works really well. Yeah. Then it lowers blood pressure. People with hypertension, with high blood pressure, on blood thinners, they can always go on for aerobic type of activity because it puts a lower load on your heart, and so that it can be sustained for a longer duration of time. Then it also improves lung function. I'm sure a lot of you must have already heard that COVID has affected so many people, and the first thing that COVID did was affect the lung function capacity. And if you have noticed that people who have been active or have been doing aerobic or anaerobic, any kind of activity, COVID symptoms or COVID didn't impact them as much as compared to some people who have been sedentary in their life. So lung function is also a very important thing, a very important benefit that aerobic exercise gives you. It also helps to better control blood sugar levels. Now, if you know someone or if you are someone who's a diabetic and you have been struggling with controlling your blood sugars, your fasting blood sugars, PP blood sugars have always been on the high, you should try aerobic exercises as they help in controlling the peaks and valleys in the blood sugar levels. It also increases good cholesterol. So a lot of because of increase in westernization and urbanization, there's a lot of junk food which is coming into our lifestyle, and good cholesterol is something that is only achieved with exercise and not with any kind of food. Yes, food also plays a major role, and what you eat you become. So food also plays a major role in controlling cholesterol levels, but aerobic activity is something which increases good cholesterol. Weight management. Now, if you're someone who's been struggling with weight and has been looking for fat loss, weight loss, exercises online, this is the way to go. Aerobic activities not only trigger fat loss, but it makes sure that you don't gain that weight again. That is if you consider the nutrition aspect of it also. So everything in combination, it will help you achieve your weight goals. So how much of activity should you be doing? It's 30 minutes, at least 4 to 5 days a week. And it can be anything. It can be walking, it can be brisk walk, it can be cycling, it can be swimming, if you know swimming, etc., etc. Moving on. So there are two types of aerobic exercises. Now, I have been into the rehab setup for most of the time. I have done other nutritional counseling for athletes as well, but my main core setup is rehab nutrition here in Pune. So I know a lot about joint health, but I also know that there is very less awareness about joint health, about people not understanding what activity suits them. So I've just divided the types of aerobic activities. This will help you to understand what works for you, what doesn't work for you. So the types of activities are low impact, which means if you have knee pain, if you have back pain, if you have some swelling in your feet, so you should go for these low impact activities. That means swimming, cycling, or walking in water. This will make sure that, so of course you need to go to physiotherapy, number one, but number two is this will make sure that if there is some kind of degeneration which is happening in your body, in your bones, in your joints, then this will not aggravate it. Yeah. And then there are high impact activities. So there's running, there's jumping rope, there's step aerobics, high intense workouts, which can be into aerobics only. So these activities are recommended for people who don't have any kind of pains and aches and any kind of injuries. They will definitely help with cardiovascular functioning and conditioning also. Moving on. Anaerobic exercises. Now, anaerobic exercises, as you can see in the pictures, they are high intense, short bursts of exercises which cannot be sustained for a long period of time. Now, it can be weightlifting, it can be sprinting, it can also be functional CrossFit training. The benefits of anaerobic exercise is the fact that it burns fat even when you are not exercising. So a 20-25 minute high intense interval training in the day, so just once in the day, can help you burn calories throughout the day. That happens because it increases the metabolism and so the oxygen debt. So anaerobic means without oxygen. So what do you mean without oxygen? It's not that your body is working functioning without oxygen, but basically the body requires time to level up with the body's needs for oxygen, and till that time it has to burn calories to reach to that level. That's why it's called an oxygen debt, so which it tries to reach throughout the day, and that's how you burn fat even when you're not exercising. Yeah, these activities are of very high intensity. It can be short bursts, circuit training, and they strengthen our bones, they burn fat. This exercise also builds and maintains muscle. All right, now moving on, there, coming up to the most important topic of nutrition. Why is nutrition important before, after, or at any time of your life, during exercise also? is because it goes hand in hand, number one, and number two, it acts as a fuel and it replenishes the stores that are there in the body. Now you imagine this, you fill up fuel in a car and you go about like 50-60 kilometers or so, and the fuel slowly starts to reduce. You have to refuel, right, to go ahead, or you'll just break down. Your car will just stop somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and then you'll have to walk around that. So that's how nutrition works with exercise. Along with exercise, it provides fuel and it provides the replenishment that the body needs. Along with that, there is also muscle recovery. Why do you exercise? Why do any of us exercise? We exercise because we want to be fit, we want to reduce our fat levels, increase our muscle levels. Now if you don't add nutrition into this whole picture, your muscle recovery is not going to happen. Your goals which you want to achieve, they are not going to happen if there's no nutrition along with exercise. It also maintains the muscle mass. If you know that after the age of 27, your muscle rate starts to drop. So 1% of muscle rate every year starts to drop when after the age of 27. So it's very, very important to maintain it, because that's the reason why dropping in muscle rate is the reason why all kinds of body aches and pains and everything starts off. Nutrition also helps to manage the weight. So if I'm sure a lot of you must have noticed that I'm doing so much, there are you or your friends or your family must be telling you that I'm doing so many exercises, I'm doing so much, I'm still not losing weight. Or vice versa, I am not exercising, I'm just sitting, I'm eating, but I'm still not gaining weight. So it helps to manage weight. Nutrition helps to manage weight in the sense. So basically, it's like going hand in hand, and you cannot go ahead with one or the other without any of them. Yeah. Then it also keeps you energetic. Now, a lot of you must have noticed that after an exercise session, if you feel tired or lethargic, or you want to sit down, or you want to just lie down for some time, then it means that your energy levels are dropping, and it means that your nutrition is not proper. Pre, during, post workout is not proper. So always remember that you should be feeling fresh, you should be feeling energetic. There are all these good hormones which are released after workout, after any kind of aerobic or anaerobic activity. And if you're feeling tired, lethargic, irritated, that means there's something going wrong with what you're eating during or after or before your workout. Then it also prevents injuries. So all these fractures, all these deficiencies which happen because of improper nutrition, and it's very, very important to prevent them. Prevention is always better than cure. So to prevent injuries, nutrition is also very, very important. All right. So moving on to, these are some tips that I've written about pre-workout, during workout, and post-workout activity. Now, your activity can be, if your workout meal is 30 minutes before, then you need to make sure that you have something which is easily digestible, which should not be very heavy, because it will have an effect on your exercise intensity, and you will have bloating or you will have GI distress. So it's better to always go for a fruit. A fruit works well. If you go for a banana 30 minutes before, it's just going to give you a spike in blood sugar, and that's it. It's going to empty out into the system even before you start exercising. So you have no energy to do that workout. Your banana has already been used up. So 30 minutes before activity, you should always go on for something like one apple or a peanut butter jam sandwich works well. They get digested easily and you will not have any kind of stomach ache or stitch. I hope if you know what a stitch means, it's a cramping or a pulling sensation that you feel in your stomach, right or the left stomach. That happens when you just eaten before your workout and there's a discomfort that you feel. Then if you have an hour before activity, you could do something like an oats porridge or made with some jaggery, which is rich in iron, and or you could do something like a handful of roasted nuts. You can add almonds, walnuts, pista, a little bit of cashew. You can even add a date or an anjeer to it and have a cup of coffee. That's very good before 1 hour of activity. If you have time and if you think that you have 2.5 hours around say to go and work out, then you can have a wholesome meal, which can be a combination of protein, carbs, and good fats. So a chapati sabzi or with an egg, a chapati and an egg roll with a cup of dal and everything. Basically, a whole meal works well 2.5 hours before activity. Now, I'm sure the activity that is happening, we'll discuss about what activities are happening at college and we'll discuss about what you can eat before and after what's happening in college right now. We'll come to that after this session. Then, during workout, now if your workout lasts for more than 45 minutes, then you have to make sure that you sip on 500 ml of lemon water. You can add some jaggery or you can add sugars, that's also okay. Or you can just have bites of 2 dates, or you can have 1 small elaichi banana, which is there. Now, why is this done? This is done because whatever you have eaten before workout, that is 30 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hours before workout, gets utilized in that first 45 minutes or 1 hour of activity. If you are going to continue exercising for 2 hours, for 3 hours, you have to make sure that you have to start replenishing during exercise. Now, how can you do that? You cannot have a meal at that time. It's going to be very uncomfortable and you're going to have bloating or gastric distress. You won't be able to continue your workout if you start eating at that time. So you have to make sure that you have simple carbohydrates. Now, simple carbohydrates, dates are the best source of quick energy bites between workout. They don't. They have shown to not cause any kind of gastric distress, and even a banana. But you have to make sure that you try it out first, maybe a bite or something. Do not gulp the whole thing down. It's very, very important to take a small bite of it, chew properly, and sip on some water, and then go ahead. Then coming to post-workout.
Excuse me, Madhu.
Post-workout,
Excuse me, Madhu.
yeah.
Your voice is echoing.
Okay.
Can we, if possible, can you use a earphone or something?
Yes. 1 second. I did try it.
Okay.
Ma'am, I don't think my earphone is connecting. I'm just trying. 1 minute.
It's okay. Otherwise, you can continue.
Am I not audible at all?
You are audible, but it's echoing. So
Yeah, it's a closed room, so maybe that's why. I've kept plants beside me for that.
you can continue.
Yes. So post workout, yeah. So post workout important me because for so many factors. Number one is muscle recovery and no muscle loss. I mean, you're working out to gain muscles and lose fat, and if muscles are all you lose, there's no point in working out, right? So it's very, very important to replenish your muscle stores, gain muscle. There are these small tears, micro tears in the muscle which need to be repaired, and which will only happen if you give yourself an amino acid rich or a protein rich meal after workout. Yeah, it does not have to be just a protein rich meal. You have to always make sure that there's a combination of protein, carbs, and good fats. But here are some options which you can try post workout. That's a egg sandwich that you can have maybe with a glass of milk if you're outside somewhere. There are mashed potatoes with cheese you can have. There are good starches and milk-based protein. Milk-based protein is also a very good quality of protein. Then there's chicken sandwich, or you can do a chicken chapati roll, which is good to go. And there's, if you are a vegetarian, you can go in for a paneer or a tofu sandwich or a chapati roll. Yeah. It's also very important to take hydration into consideration. If your weight if your weight before and after workout drops for more than 500 grams or so, you have to make sure that it can also be, it's water loss, it can also be water loss, and it needs to be replenished. So there are some people who say that, you know, I cannot have water, I cannot sip on water, I feel pukish during workout or even post workout. That's, you should not be doing that. You should sip on small and regular sips of water frequently. And the best way to make out whether you are dehydrated or not is to check the color of your urine after workout. You see that if the color is dark yellow, it means you are dehydrated. If the color is light pale yellow, it means you were well hydrated through and through. So it's, so water is not just important post workout, but it is also very, very important pre workout and during workout. Yeah. And yes, I think that's about it. I want to get to know the crowd and the students there. So uh, shoot any questions if you have any doubts or any questions or some things that you want to know for yourself.
So Madhu, these students are doing a regular workout, yoga sessions, and they have the full body workouts. We
Okay.
have our sports teacher, Dipali, who's taking the yoga sessions for them, and the gym instructor, Priyanka, who's taking full body workouts for the students. And the timings are 7:30 to 8 and 8 to 8:30. That is the timing they do these exercises.
Right, right.
So I'm sure students would like to know. Students, you can ask the questions to ma'am. She's present here. You can take the best advice from her.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Paulimi ma'am. Yeah, Madhu, it was very fantastic session. This is Ahilya from Junior College. I teach food science and technology. I wanted to know that you were telling mashed potato, correct? So, um, glycemic index of mashed potato is very high. So, can we have it after exercise?
So mashed potatoes glycemic index can be high, but when you're mixing it with cheese, the glycemic index for cheese, the glycemic load for the whole thing reduces, right? So
Okay.
don't worry, it will not give you an insulin spike. And yes, you can definitely have mashed potatoes after exercise.
Okay. Thank you.
Madhu, I have a question. You had mentioned that
Yes, ma'am.
post-workout, they can have some carbohydrates with egg, cheese, chicken, and paneer, right? These were the options. Yeah. So
Right.
in case if the person has to manage the weight, okay, it's overweight or obese, so cheese will be out of question, and some people are vegetarians. And then in that also there's a limited choice. Like paneer will not be available on daily basis, maybe at home. So do you have any other options which can be included as a protein source in their diets?
Absolutely. So one is crushed roasted nuts you can do after workout. You can do it with a glass of milk, yeah, and with a fruit. So the nuts will be high in proteins and along with the milk, absolutely. You can crush it or roast it with a little bit of ghee in it, and that will make sure that you have.
Okay. Can any form of curd, I mean, if it is a combination with curd, will it be a good source of protein and carbohydrate post-workout?
Absolutely, absolutely. So even a curd, so milk, any kind of milk product, yes. When you're looking for a weight loss, cheese is gets a little on the higher side of fat, so cheese is usually avoided. But any kind of milk product apart from that works well post workout. Curd goes really well with raisins, black raisins in them, or with some crushed nuts in them. That can also be. There are yogurts available, but they are all sweetened, so people should avoid that. If you can carry your own fresh curd from home, that is also okay, and you can have it as a snack, as a post-workout snack,
Okay,
or
thank you so much.
even
Ah,
I think oats roasted with granola and some nuts and seeds work well post-workout for vegetarians.
and what is your take on the protein bars which people suggest for post-workout?
So protein bars, I think, see, it's it's a packed product. Yes, they all say that it's naturally made and everything. If there is no other option available, it's always better to pick up a protein bar than picking up something else altogether. But I think you should always go on to, or I think you should always plan your post-workout meals. If you know that you're going to work out, and you should always plan that, okay, this is what you're going to eat after workout. Protein bars do work as a quick solution for people, especially for athletes when they are traveling and they have no other option. So we have to do protein bars for them, and they meet their requirements of energy and proteins and carbs, because some of them have whey protein in them, and some of them are just made of ragi, soy, and everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Madhu. And I
Thank you,
think,
ma'am.
yeah, students and staff can have more questions. Uh,
Yes.
what do you want?
I would request.
There are 72 participants.
Yeah, because we have purposely kept the presentation part to the minimum so that we can have better interactions and we can benefit out of this whole webinar.
Exactly.
So I think we'll take the question first from Nazir Khan.
Good evening, ma'am. So my
Hi, good
question was
evening.
that, good evening, ma'am. So in the during workout, you said that we should eat bananas, and even we have to drink water. So the combination of water and banana, is that okay? Because traditionally, our parents say that we should not take water after banana or so. So what?
Yeah, so yes. Yeah, I know traditionally people say that. So, what is the logic behind not eating a banana or not having water after a banana? Is because it either gives you stomach ache or it will give you cough. Now, that's a myth that I have heard. I don't know what your mother or what your family says, but I'll tell you something. When you're working out, your body heats up, okay, and because of the metabolism and strengthening and everything, so water is used as a source of coolant as well as hydration. Having a banana, now it's not a whole banana, you just have to have a bite of it, and then you can, it's up to you if you want to sip some water with it or not. Because see, there is no such research which says that having a bite of banana and then not sipping a water on it gives you gastric distress. That's not the case. It's up to your comfort. If you think that you don't want to sip you don't want to sip on water, you can just drop that and you can just have a bite of a banana and then go on, carry on with your workout. But usually it leaves a taste, and it's like it's like a distraction when you're working out, especially for athletes. It's like a distraction, and the minutest of thing can, get them off their game. So it's always better to just sip on some water, or just gargle some water and throw it away if you have a problem. But scientifically, it's not been proven that having, of course, gulping a lot of water will give you some kind of stomach ache after eating a banana. But then otherwise, it's not a problem.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. We'll take the next question from Kanchi.
Good evening, ma'am. I am a student from SYBSC. Actually, my question is that like people who work like whole day and they go for workout at night, like after 7 or 8, and they take the meal like paneer and all after the workout, like at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. So is it good, or is there any other option about except that?
Is was that all? Was she continuing with something?
No. That was all the question, where she's saying about the workouts late in the evening.
After. So yeah, a lot of people do that they have work in the entire day and they will only get time to go to the gym or work out at night. The easier option for that would be to, instead of having something like a paneer, which is heavy, you can go on for egg whites, or you can go on for dals. No, it's not a very good source of protein, but just a glass of milk or with a cup of milk at night. But it's always better. What will happen is your recovery time will, so you will be awake for a long period of time, because to digest all that at 10 o'clock in the night and then go to sleep, it will take some time. And because you've just worked out, you won't even feel sleepy. So their sleep cycle will be disturbed. So it's always better to have some egg whites, or maybe do some sprouts at night, mixed sprouts, or even an idli or a dosa with mixed grains and sprouts dals will work best with some coconut chutney or so. And at bedtime, if you can have some milk with haldi, it will help with the casein protein for recovery the entire night.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, one more question I want to ask. Yeah, Bhavisha, can I ask one question? Yeah.
Yes.
I wanted to know that, is there any age criteria for the aerobic, anaerobic exercise and the diet which you prescribed?
Age criteria? No, there's no age criteria for any kind of exercise actually. They do say that weightlifting and any kind of lift weight, like not other than your body weight, lifting weights is not recommended for kids because they're in a growth spurt state. That is only till the age of 9 or 10. But no, there is no such age criteria for any kind of exercise. The diet part, yes, there are some foods which the kids might not, it might not suit them, or it may suit them. So you have to mix and match and see what works for them and then go ahead with it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Kushi, you may ask your questions. I would request the other students also to keep on posting it on the chat box.
Okay, so I wanted to ask if the athlete or the workout, if is a lady is working out daily and she's pregnant, so what would be her nutritional food she can have?
I'm sorry, I didn't get you. If she's working out daily and
And
And she's an athlete.
Hmm.
and she got recently pregnant. So how her nutritional food can change?
Okay, so if she's recently got pregnant, meaning she's just conceived, so her there are a lot of nutrients which we have to look into. That is iron, folic acid, calcium, selenium, magnesium. A lot of things that need to be taken care of. So supplements is one thing, but number two, her metabolism is going to increase. So she's basically supposed to eat for two now and not just for one. Gynac nutrition and nutrition for pregnant women with like an athlete is completely different. Is a little, the needs are a little higher than a normal person, of course, and the needs for all the, even the RDS says the same thing, that all nutrients, vitamins and minerals are on a little higher side as required by a normal lady. So definitely it's going to change. It's going to be higher than what we require as a normal as in non-pregnant or people who did not conceive people.
Okay,
Did
ma'am.
I
Thank
answer
you.
your question? Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
We have a question. What can we have post yoga, as the yoga is performed on an empty stomach? Also, while doing yoga, in case if we feel dizzy, what can we consume as a pre-meal?
Okay. So pre-meal before yoga, you can have a fruit. It gets digested very well and it gets digested quickly, so you will not feel any kind of discomfort. And apple works well. Apple pear works well with it. If you feel dizzy during yoga, that means you've not eaten well, not just before workout, but the before day also. That also matters because there are no muscle glycogen stores in your body and your blood sugars are dropping if you feel dizzy. So carry 2 dates with you if you don't have the time to have anything before workout. Just have a bite of them and then sip some water and you should be fine. Post yoga, you should again go in for a combination of protein, fats, and carbs. So you could do something like an egg sandwich or an egg chapati roll. Or if you are in college, you can just grab a few nuts with some curd or a milkshake. That will also work well post yoga.
Our next question is it okay to recommend a diabetic to exercise after 2 hours of a heavy meal?
Absolutely. Everybody should exercise. A diabetic, definitely. 2 hours heavy meal is fine. 2 hours is a good enough time to so 2 hours, it's supposed to be now on the satiety levels of the person also, and he also needs to understand that if they've had a big meal and maybe not 2 hours, you could push it to 2.5 3 hours and then go on for an activity level of low intensity first and then gradually increase it up. But yes, exercise works really well in controlling diabetes, so they should go in for exercises.
Huda ma'am, you would like to ask the question?
Yes, Bhavisha, thank you.
Yeah.
Ms. Madhu, thank you for the very informative session. I just wanted to ask you that, with people who are managing their PCOS or trying to reverse their PCOS, say, for instance, okay, and they, I've heard that workout is a must and not, mostly for people who are suffering from PCOS. I think that's like a lifestyle shift that they have to make. So for them, managing blood sugar levels is the biggest challenge. Okay, so when you're working out, and I'm sure that when you're, say for instance, you're having a calorie deficit diet, and also supported by uh, training in forms of whether it's circuit training or any kind of workout. So, is there any special tip for someone who works out and and finds managing sugar levels a challenge?
Okay. So, managing sugar levels and working out with PCOS.
Yeah.
I think the biggest factor in PCOS is the insulin resistance. That is, the high levels of fat or the testosterone levels in the body. With PCOS, aerobic exercises as well as in a combination with lifting. It can be weightlifting, it can be own body weight, functional training works really well. But when you are trying to manage your blood sugars, you need to see what foods spike up your blood sugars. Like, I'm sure you know about glycemic index and glycemic load, but we have noticed here in our clinic that some people, after having poha, their blood sugars spiked up so high. Poha, it was with veggies and it was with peanuts and everything. Their blood sugar still spiked up. This was before the workout, and some people were just fine after half an hour, 2 hours of the poha. So you need to listen to your body and you need to see what works for you. Try to go on for soluble fibers before workout, soluble fibers or low glycemic index before workout, and have a fuller meal 1.5 2 hours before the workout, which will help, which will not spike up your blood sugar levels. If you do have a banana or if you do have dates during workout, that's fine. That will not spike up your sugars because it's uh, it's getting used up. That energy is getting used up while you are in that set or in that circuit. So yes, go on for whole soluble fiber foods which are low in GI before workout to help with not a lot of peaks and valleys in your blood sugars.
Thank you.
The next question that we have is, if some people are finding it very restless in the morning times to do any kind of physical activity, what would you think can be a solution to this, or what can be the reason for it?
Okay. Very restless in the morning to do any activity.
Yeah. Or maybe, they're not really, I don't know, maybe because they're empty stomach, or could be because, they may be dehydrated or something, is what I'm presuming to be. But if
Right,
at all,
right.
they're not able to put in their effort for that physical activity that they want to do, can there be any way out?
So one thing is that, see, when you go to sleep, that's the first meal of the day. When you have breakfast, it's called breakfast for a reason. If you feel that you are very restless in the mornings to work out, number one, yes, as Bhavsha ma'am said, that you could be dehydrated, so just grab a glass of water, warm or normal. But with that, it'll be great if you have some, 4 soaked almonds and 2 3 soaked raisins, which will give you some instant sugars and will start making you feel good. So this morning restlessness or hunger pang kind of a thing, you don't understand if it's a hunger pang or not, but this drop in blood sugars usually happen with diabetics. So they are given dry carbs at that time or some date or something to start off their day with so that they can maintain their blood sugars. So it's also very important to notice and understand what time is your last meal of the day, the previous day. So if you're eating a meal at 7 o'clock in the evening or 8 o'clock in the evening, and then you're directly waking up and having something at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, that's a long gap. And that could also be the reason why you are feeling restless or, just not been able to concentrate because you've eaten a long time ago and it's time to refuel now.
I think one of the last questions that we have is your view on protein shakes or any pre-workout shakes. What would be your suggestion, whether they should be incorporated or no, or with any do's and don'ts?
Okay. So protein shakes, I'm assuming this has got to do with whey protein. It can be pre-workout or post-workout. So it works well when you have a goal set in place and you are doing that activity at that level where you require that much of protein intake and at that intensity. it can happen that it can put a load on your kidney if your workout is not that high and you're still taking protein shakes. It's always better to go on or start with a natural source and then move on to protein shakes. Because gradually, as your workout increases, intensity progresses, that's when you need to either talk to an expert or think about it logically, that if your body does not need that kind of protein, it's going to put a load on your kidney, number one. Number two, it's going to store it as fat. So you don't need that in your body. So always calculate the amount of food you require and the intensity of workout you do. It should be a balance between them. So it's not like a good or a bad thing. It's good if you need it, but if you don't need it, I mean, it's a very fancy thing now. People are showing off with it, but there's no point to, there's no need of it. You don't need to do it if there's no need of it.
And if as nutritionists, we would want to prescribe exercise to some common people, or to, like any common list of exercise that we can prescribe, and while we are prescribing, should we keep something in our minds? Consider any facts.
Yes. So, if you are prescribing any kind of exercises to common people, there can be common exercises like always tell them about warm up and cool down. That is like the two most important thing that nobody does and nobody even says. But that is the most important, and that makes it just prepares your body and cools your body down after a workout. That's number one. Number two, you can prescribe them uh, according to their ailments. So if they have a joint pain, if they have knee pain, if they have ankle pain, do not prescribe walking to them. That is only going to aggravate their condition. Prescribe cycling, which is low impact activity. Prescribe walking in the water, which is again low impact activity. And they need to figure out a way to treat their knee pain or ankle pain. You need to, as a counselor, it's your duty to tell them that, I will help you with the nutrition part of it, but you also need to get this fixed up. That is number two. But if some people don't have any kind of ailments, they're all fit and fine, you can definitely go on for a functional training. If it's an elderly person, you can tell them to go for a brisk walk, jog, and then maybe a run. That's like a simpler activity. But if it's a youngster coming to you and they want to work out, you can always prepare a circuit training for them. You can always start with warm up and then start with back, core and back together. You can do crunches. You can tell them Superman. You can tell them different variations of crunches there are. Then go on for chest, shoulder muscles, and then go on for upper limbs and lower limbs, like that. So go big muscle, big muscle, big muscle, and then smaller muscles together. And keep a combination. Don't keep full body workouts in a day. They'll die, and then they'll curse you for it.
I think with the time constraints that we always have, we'll try to resist the upcoming questions. But thank you so much, Madhu, for joining us and for having not only a very theoretical approach, but a very practical approach to, how they can actually benefit out of the sessions that they are already engaged in, and how can they club nutrition along with it. So great thank you from my end. And I would now like to call upon Dr. Janvi Joshi, member of the sports committee, to propose the formal vote of thanks. Madhu, may I please, sorry, Janvi, may I please request you to stop the screen share? Thank you. Over to you, Janvi.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So on behalf of the sports committee of Dr. BMN College of Home Science and members, in charge Ms. Poulomi Desai, members Ms. Shilpa Surulkar, Ms. Bhavisha Sancheti, our sports teacher, Ms. Dipali Kalamkar, Ms. Priyanka Binjale, and Ms. Dipali Rele ma'am from Junior College. I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to all those who have made this session possible. We are very thankful to the principal and the management of the college for having given us this opportunity to organize the session. We are extremely grateful to RUSA for the funds, and most grateful to our speaker, Ms. Madhu Salunke, for taking up
the session, for the wonderful insights shared, and having taken it up in a way that students would relate to and understand it. Their questions itself reflected their interest in the topic, and the way you have addressed it it has created a strong impact on the minds of students as well as participants, all the participants. So thank you for taking
Thank you
your
so
time,
much. Thank you so much.
and we would like to have more sessions with you whenever possible. It has been a
Definitely.
delight to hear you. Most
Definitely.
importantly, I
Thank you.
would also like to thank all our participants. They were from various sections of the college, starting from junior college, BSc, BCA, and PG courses. And interestingly, faculty members were also part of the session. So thank you to all the faculty members from junior college, from PG courses, as well as BSc. And thank you for asking questions to all the thanks to all the participants, teachers, and students. The questions, I think, made the session most lively, and we look forward to such enthusiastic participation in the future as well. So once again, thanks to everyone, and thank you, Ms. Bhavisha, for organizing a wonderful session with Ms. Madhu. The feedback link has been shared in the chat box. We request everyone, all participants, to please fill the feedback. It will help us to know your thoughts. It will help us to know what you felt about the session, and it will also help us record your attendance. So please fill it up today itself. In the next 5 minutes, you'll be able to finish it. So thanks again, and I hope the learnings will help all of us strengthen our nutrition aspects required for our regular exercising, as well as our building our sports culture of the college. So thank you once again.
Thank you, Dr. Chandni.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
I just hope now they will start thinking that, tomorrow before the exercise, what I need to have, and after the exercise, whatever I need to have is ready with them, so that, they're just clubbing the nutrition along with the exercise part.
I was
No, I'd
about
like
to say
to-
that.
I think
The
I'd like to
girls should
add
be
one
ready.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
follow me, ma'am.
Yeah.
There is one humble request. Can I get the recording of this session for the junior college student?
Yes,
Those
yes. We
are-
will be uploading it on the YouTube channel also. So definitely
Okay.
yes.
I'm sure Dipali ma'am will be there. So we both together, if we'll get the recording, we'll show it to the junior college.
Yes, yes, definitely. We can share it. Some of the
Thank
NSS volunteers have also missed this webinar.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will be made available to those who have missed.
Yes. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Welcome.
Yeah, I would like to just add some things while some people are leaving. It's the college Frankie is a distraction, and the Frankie is so yummy. But please don't go for it. I mean, once in a while, it's okay. I think Bhavisha ma'am had mentioned that a lot of people are coming in empty stomach and they're traveling so far away. It's just unreal. I mean, there's all willpower. I'm just very scared about how they'll just fall off somewhere. So it's very, very important for them to understand that eating something, they're like, वजन बढ़ जाएगा, नहीं खाना है, ये करना है, वो करना है. They don't give that a priority. But we've also learned it the hard way, yes. But I think I hope this session helps them understand the importance of it.
I think many of the students are from the online year and now they are in the SYs. So they have actually not come to college and done all those physical activities. They will understand the importance of nutrition more when they start coming to college. We have to
Yes.
sustain for the whole day.
Happening even at home, right? You just get up out of the bed and
Yeah. So even if they are home, unfortunately, many of them are empty stomach.
To just see BMN again.